Hi and welcome back at Viotech, the channel for music and technology from me, Malte Schäfer, first principal violist of the Philharmonic State Orchestra in Mainz, good old Germany. And today we're going to compare the Korfkerrest shoulder rest from the brand Pirastro with the Dolfinos chin rest shoulder rest system from Switzerland and everything else after this short introduction. So now we start with the Korfkerrest from Pirastro, which is absolutely established in our orchestras in Germany during the last, let's say, 2 or 3 years. What is special about the Korfkerrest if I compare it to normal traditional shoulder rests? Well, not so much actually. So the main material is wood with a kind of foam on it that makes it a little more comfortable. And the 2 feet are made of metal, and the clamps that you put on the instruments are made of rubber. So there's a lot of other shoulder rests who seem to do quite the same. The difference is, I don't know what kind of wood they use, but it's not only because they cut holes inside. It's extremely lightweight. So if you put this shoulder rest out of its box for the first time, you just laugh because you think, wow, this is it? It is like you have nothing in your hand. It might be like, I don't know, in reality 70 to 80 gram, I don't know. So it's so uncomparable lightweight in comparing to normal shoulder rest or traditional shoulder rests. And you have these two kind of feet which have 2 ball joints each, which you can open with a Torx screwdriver, which is very nice. I don't know why Dolfinos uses the inbus system, because Torx is much nicer in my eyes, and I use them privately wherever I can. Torx screws are definitely the best. So you can definitely also individualize these feet much better than on traditional other shoulder rests. And with this one, you can also very much have a variety how wide the feet goes. So if you turn this completely around, you can put it on a very small viola, and like I have it now, I can put it on my Izuka, which is extremely wide. So there's nearly no other shoulder rest on the market that I can use, besides one of Poland, which is made of completely steel, I guess, and weighs about, I don't know, 500 gram if you compare it. So this is the things. You can individualize it. You can also really tighten it very nice, so it's not gonna move or slip or whatever. And the second thing that is really amazing to me is it sounds very, very well. I have no explanation for that. If it is the kind of wood that they use or whatever, but it's a huge difference, and I think this is one of the major success of this shoulder rest, that it really sounds well. So my instrument really was sounding much better immediately after I put this shoulder rest on it. It takes about at least an afternoon to individualize all these screws that they're comfortable. Furthermore, you can heat up this wood and bend it to your direction of your shoulder somehow, or to the comfort of your shoulder, and it stays in this kind of curve for a little bit. So you can have it more plain or more curved. And this is one thing that I also don't really understand how Pirastro does that, because this is definitely a natural material. It's wood. I don't know why it has a kind of memory function that it stays in the curve that you bend it after heating it up. But anyway, it seems to function. I play this also for over a year now, on my Izuka, and it stayed like this. And I have to admit, it is comfortable. It is much better than everything else from the traditional shoulder rest that I've ever tried before. It's not slippery. It never fell off. But as I said, it takes some time to adjust it. And some people in my orchestra asked me to help because they had really seriously problems in adjusting the feet. Yeah, I don't think it's very complicated if you think about it, but well, I'm somebody who is very much into technology stuff anyway, so I'm more or less experienced. So now comparing this to the Dolfinos system, so I laid that down here. And the Dolfino system is of course something completely different because it not only consists of a shoulder rest, but it has this clamp or clasp that holds the chin rest and the shoulder rest together on the instrument. I've made a very long video where I review this shoulder rest system especially. You can find it on my channel if you're interested in. So this is really like comparing apple and pears, like we say. This is more or less a high-tech invention. This is more or less making something better that already existed. So here you can not only adjust the height of the shoulder rest, and you can not only adjust the positioning of the pads, you can also adjust the height of the chin rest itself. If you open here on the left side these two screws with the tool that they give you from the brand Dolfinos, you can, I hold it here, you can change the height of the chin rest on these two Titan sticks. It's going up and down, and if you have a longer neck you just can have it 2 centimeters higher, and if you have a short neck you can just leave it like that. And the whole system is mounted just because over these two other inboard screws, you just put it on the instrument, this clamp, and then you just tighten these screws, and it's really very fixed. Yeah, it's done within seconds and it's very solid. So they have a lot of cork pads inside this clamp, so it's guaranteed that there is no marks or scratches on the instrument. It works very well. I'm absolutely convinced about the idea behind that. Therefore, I was more or less surprised that they already have a new system now. So they bring a new system on the market. This one is not available anymore. It is sold out. And they bring a new one now. I don't know if it will have big differences to this. And what I've also heard is additionally they will also bring next year one in carbon fiber. This is made of steel, but not very heavy, I have to admit, and it makes a very stable impression. And I played it now for more than a year in everything like orchestra service, chamber music, but also solistic stuff. It is stable. It works very well, I have to admit. So I was asking myself, why do they already change a winning team before being kind of 100% established on the international market? But I'm not manager of the Dolfinos team, so there might be something behind it, okay? Some idea. But as I said, for my taste personally, this doesn't have to be reinvented because this is already really well done. So this is what it is about in the end. This is of course also sounding fantastic because you have this free swinging shoulder rest which doesn't kill any sounds because it has no rubber pads, no rubber feet that are really on the instrument. Everything here is free swinging. So also the chin rest is made of a good material. I don't know if I have no idea if it's wood or if it's something artificial. I really can't tell. It could be wood actually. It feels very good. That's what I can say. And they have different chin rests that you can choose from, wider ones and also one that goes more to the left, etc. So This one, as I said, is established not only in orchestras all over the world, but also within the students in the universities and conservatoriums, which is astonishing because it already costs 300 euros. And this is from a global player which produces strings and many other things for instruments since decades and decades. So I think actually for the idea that is behind it, 300 euros is a lot of money. If I compare this with that, which costs 500 euros, which is of course even much more money, but what kind of invention, what kind of thoughts, what kind of engineering is behind this and what is behind this, I think there is a huge difference between these two systems. Furthermore, I wouldn't even judge which one is better or which one is worse because both do function nicely and I use both of them very often in my orchestra services on different instruments. This one I have normally on my carbon fiber viola, this one I have on my Izuka. So for people who are a little more conservative or traditional, I would recommend try this. For people who have constant or chronic problems with pain in shoulder, neck or teeth, I would more recommend this because you can individualize this much more. Both sound fantastic, both even look good, even though I have to admit that here the materials, as I said, from this foam doesn't make a high-tech impression, and I've seen with colleagues that they're already completely rotten after a year or two. Anyway, it's your choice, and if you want to try them out or want to try both of them, order them online in Europe, because then you can try them out for 14 days and give them back and get a full refund of the money that you've paid. This is always my advice. Buy things online, even though the luthiers might not be happy about that. I'm sorry, but for these things, before you really spend 500 euros and you just can't give them back at your luthier after 2 weeks, I would buy it online or ask your luthier if they have the possibility to try it out at his shop as well for 2 weeks and give it back otherwise. Then you can, of course, support your local dealer. Yay, this is all. If you think that this video have brought you any kind of information that you did like, then you can give it a thumb up and I would be happy about that. And if you want to have further information about other things that I might review in the next weeks, then you can of course make an abonnement of my channel for free and I would be glad for that. And until then, I close with the same words that I close all the time if I make reviews about shoulder rests or any other stuff. First of all, the pencil holder doesn't come from Pirastro and it also doesn't come from Dolfinos. Funnily, nobody had that idea. It's my idea because I always used to forget my pencils. So I add this on any kind of shoulder rest. So this is just my invention. And the second thing is, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. Everything that I review, I bought myself. And I only make reviews about products that seem to be helpful in our musical life. Otherwise, I wouldn't report about that. So I'm not paid by anyone. I'm doing this for free and on my free will. Okay, have fun and see you next time.